Okay, so check this out. You have created a brilliant piece of software. Maybe it is a text editor or an email client, but you are using something like Tkinter. You obviously are very proud of this software. You show it to a client, hoping that he would be as proud as you are and will admire your work. But instead, his reaction was unexpected. It is not like your GUI, that is the graphical user interface. Of course, unless the software is not a CLI tool, obviously, something else would be in that case, I guess. Your client says that he wants new and modern GUI. He seems to like the beautiful HTML apps that he shows to you and demands that your GUI be like this. Now you're puzzled about what to do. You've never tried to create an HTML app that looks like a native app. Sounds familiar? Doesn't sound familiar? Okay, even if you have ever wanted to create those HTML apps with Python, you must see this video till the end because today I'm going to show you how to create beautiful HTML apps using Python. We'll use Python and JavaScript together with the power of HTML and CSS using the Eel Python package. An example of this would be this that I'm working on. It's still not created. It's called Awesome MQTT Client for IoT, for those of you IoT nerds out there. So you can see that this whole GUI is an HTML app and behind the scenes Python is working. So we won't create this in this video, but I'll show you how to do this, and I'll show you the basics of this Eel package. Let's open up PyCharm. Okay, so now we have to create a project. So now I'm gonna call mine Eel Tut. You can call yours whatever you want. Okay, so now let's get it. And Eel is a small package, so you might or might not want to use a virtual environment. It would be good if you do. Now let's close it. Now if you are not using PyCharm, you have to install Eel by doing pip install Eel in your terminal. Now if you are using PyCharm, you can do this using the standard procedure. Okay, so let's go to settings and let's go to project Eel Tut, project interpreter, and plus symbol, and here we have to do Eel and hit install. This will take a while to install. So after it is installed, we have to go into our main project directory and we have to create a directory called static, which will contain all our front-end files, HTML, CSS and JS, you know. So let's create new directory. Let's name it static. Now in here we have to create a starter file which will start as a main file, HTML file. So we'll name it index.html. So let's go in here, right click's not working. Okay, new and then HTML file, let's name it index. Now I have some code snippets here so that you don't have to watch me type it out. So now in here you can see that we have some HTML in here, something. So okay, let me fix it. Okay, now it's okay. So let me explain this. We can see that here our HTML starts and our language is English obviously, and then we have our heading tag. In here we have the encoding UTF-8 and then the title, which is just title. Let's do this something like hello world. Now we're talking. And now in here we have the body tag. Inside this we have hello world, and then congrats, Eel seems to work as a paragraph. And then we have a JavaScript. This is eel.js. So what is happening, you can see that I have no eel.js in here, no eel.js in static. Then why am I doing this? So I'm doing this because when we will run this, this Eel package will serve a JavaScript eel.js at this address, and we will be able to reference our Python and Python functions using this eel.js library. So that's very important. So now we have to create a JavaScript file that will contain all the JavaScript files in the static directory. So let's do this. New and then file. Okay, now let's say script.js. Let's close it for now and let's focus on the Python backend. For that we have to create a Python file, new and then Python file, and then name this main. Now in here, first of all we have to import it, so we'll have to say import Eeel, and then we have to initialize it, eel.init, and we have to pass the parameter as the directory where we have all the static or the front end JavaScript, HTML, CSS files. So we'll say static, which is our directory, and then we have to start the GUI using eel.start. Then in here we have to pass the starter HTML file, which is index.html, and run it real quick. And there we go, we can see that we have hello world, congrats, it seems to work fine. Now you can specify a bunch of things in here, like with this start there are a bunch of parameters. So we can say like size, we can define the size of the window. So for that, first we have the width, which is let's say 800, and the height, which is 500, not 5000. So let's now run it and see what happens, and we get the same window size. Okay, let's change it and run it. Now we get a different window size, which is square. So one thing I did not tell you is that this window that opens each time is the Chrome browser. One thing I did not tell you is that it runs, what happens is that behind the scenes it runs a web server at localhost with a port of 8000, and then it renders that web page on a Chrome browser, which you see in the form of a GUI. You have all the functionalities of the Chrome browser. Let us see how we can get this and open this in the browser. So to prove my point, let me start it once again. So run it. Now it has run. So let me open up another window, new window. Okay, localhost /8000 /index.h. So we can see we get the same thing as in here. Is that yes, in this windows both of these are Chrome browser. Now one more thing is that you have all the functionalities of the Chrome browsers. So we can say Ctrl+Shift+I to get the console, and we can see we have all the development tools that you may want. And now the most important thing, how do we get to interact JavaScript and Python with each other? So for that there are a bunch of functionalities. So you can expose functions basically to interact and pass data. So let's see how we do it. Let me define a function and I will call it def say hello from JS, and then a parameter of x, and then print, and then in here f string, and we'll say hello from, and then x. Okay, so why did I call it say hello from JS? I called it because I'm gonna call it from JavaScript. Isn't that cool? So now in here we can just say eel dot say hello from JS, and then pass anything JavaScript. Okay, so remember this eel, where did this come from the air? No. So this eel, remember we called this eel.js, and then in here we are calling it from that library that is served at this address. Okay, so now one thing I noticed, and you probably did as well, that I haven't added this file in here. So I'll say script with the source of script.js, and there we go. And now if I run it, we should get. Okay, so one thing I forgot is that in this main file I did not expose this function to the JavaScript side. So for that we have to say expose, sorry, we have to say eel.expose, and that should do it. So if you don't know, this is called a decorator, and I have a link in the description below if you want to know what are these things in Python, if these are new to you. So let me run this, and yep, you can see we get hello from JavaScript. Okay, so we can do something similar. So we can expose functions from JavaScript side to the Python side as well. So let me do something similar. So in here, let me define a function, then let's call it say hello from Python, because I'm gonna call it from Python, and then x, and then this, and then console dot log what we have to log hello from, and then this, and then dot replace what, replace these with the x. Okay, so I don't know how you do f strings or something like that with JavaScript, because I've forgotten that, so I'm using replace. Someone tell me in the comments below if I don't know. Okay, so let's run it. Okay, so we haven't called it from the Python side, so let's call it, and this time I won't forget to expose it to the Python side. So I'll say eel dot expose, say hello from Python, and then now in Python side I have to call it eel dot say hello from Python, and in here let's put Python. Okay, so now if you run it, we got this already in here. So now let me check the console, and we can see we get hello from Python. In this way you can easily interact between JavaScript and Python, pass data and do anything. So one thing I forgot to tell you is that this data that we are passing is passed in the format of WebSocket, and they tend to lose data, so be careful with that. And I have a link in the description below from where you can see more about this library and see more functions from the documentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button if you did. Share this with anyone else who you think might be needing this, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'll see you later.